What's up, guys? Wasn't planning on getting back on the collection videos until next Sunday, but I woke up this morning and kind of had the itch to go on and get back on board and start getting these done again. I just rolled out of bed and got to work on it. That's why I look like hot trash. I apologize, but hey, we're having a video, so I'm just gonna jump into this. I think we're on video what 77 when we left off when I did that last video about a month ago. We had just finished the H section and jumped just barely into the eyes. And so we're going to be in the eyes for a little bit, but we'll just go on and get started. First band I'm going to show is a band that I've sold off a lot of the material that I had of theirs. The ones that I still have just weren't in a condition to sell. Didn't really want to give them away, so they're just kind of here. I'm kind of salty about this one anyway, just because when I purchased this, the seller had it listed as an original copy, and it was listed in very good condition. This was neither. This was a promotional copy of Iced Earth's Burnt Offerings. It's not in very good condition, as you can see. The sleeve is all uh, butchered up, and I was just kind of disgusted when I bought it, and this is what arrived to me. There's the disc, just in this little cardboard thing. It has some marks and stuff on the actual disc. But yeah, I don't really. Iced Earth is one of those bands that I used to really like, and I don't know. I don't listen to them much anymore. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with the John Schaefer uh, Capitol incident. I mean, I'm good at removing the art from the artist type of deal. I've never thought that he would have been a really pleasant person to work with as far as like bandmates and stuff would go. But I did enjoy some of his material. I don't know. I don't find myself wanting to listen to Ice Earth too much anymore. I have the Days of Purgatory release. This came out in 1997 on Century Media, kind of revisiting some of the early days of Iced Earth back when they were known as Purgatory. It's a two-disc set. I'm not going to show both discs. I'm not really going to spend a whole lot of time on Iced Earth because it's just not a band that I really follow. We have Something Wicked This Way Comes. This is one that I did want to keep in the collection. I do like this one. It's probably my second favorite Iced Earth release. As you can see, we have a very loud vehicle that just drove by outside. Apologize for that, but there we go. And then we have what is my favorite Iced Earth album. I've had this one for quite some time. This is a Horror Show. I remember jamming this one back when it came out in 2001. It feels like a lifetime ago, and I mean it's 20 years, and so 22 years to be exact. So it is a bit of a lifetime ago. But I do like this one. This is probably my most played Iced Earth release that I have in my collection. I don't know why when I listen to them, this is just the one that I want to return to. It's not like their most super popular release or anything. It's not the one that everybody else kind of wants to run to when they listen to. But if I ever do have the feeling that I want to listen to some Iced Earth, it's going to be one of these two albums. That's usually what I just pull off the shelf. Everything else, I've pretty much almost gotten rid of. I have two more to show. I have the Blessed and the Damned compilation. It doesn't have the slipcase anymore, but this is kind of like a best of. This came out in 2004, so it was kind of a compilation of the band's material up to this point that Century Media put out. It's a two-disc set as well, but I'm not going to show both discs. I don't feel like moving that one around too much. And then the last one of Iced Earth that I'm going to show is Framing Armageddon, Something Wicked Part 1. This was an absolutely terrible release. I hated this. Um, yeah, I think I have not listened to this in ages. So, okay, moving on. We have some ICS Vortex. This is Storm Seeker. This is the only album that ICS Vortex has put out. Kind of blackened progressive metal. ICS Vortex was a part of Dimmu Borgir, very fitting, for quite some time. And this is like the solo. Well, not he's got other musicians on this, but this was like his project like that he led and spearheaded after he left Dimmu Borgir. It's a pretty solid release. I mean, it's not just a must own, but it is good for what it is. Next up, we have some folk music, some kind of acoustic folk music. This is Itis Orlog, I believe is how you pronounce that, with the Spiral Tide of Seasons. This is, I believe this band is out of, this project is out of Norway. Kind of pagan folk music. That's Itis right there. I think Sif, let me see, what's her, Sif Itis is her name, and she's the leader of this project. She has other musicians that are like session and guest musicians on this stuff, but it's really good. I like this. My favorite of the two releases that I own from Itis Orlog is this here. This one is entitled Froya Og Svipdag, and songs from, yeah, I can't pronounce that, but it's very beautiful music. It's just this kind of neo folk, folky, pagan-esque, awesome stuff, and it's very soothing and just kind of nature-driven, nature-loving folk music, and I absolutely love it. Next up, we have a black metal band that is really hard to find any information on. This is Ignis Atra Spiritus with Death's Requiem. This came out back in 2015. This was released on Thanatology Productions, and I believe the label is out of China. I'm not sure where this band is from. It's kind of hard to find very much info on this band. I have the glare and the kind of skull background. I want to show off of the artwork on this just because of the color of the artwork and the plastic on the case. This was limited to 666 copies. It's very true cult. This is number 153 out of 666. Very raw black metal. Very kind of primitive sounding stuff, but it is pretty decent. Next up, this is like the type of black metal that I feel like Merker wants to be. This is some very this is a one woman project, black metal project, very sultry black metal. I absolutely love this. It's the only full length from this project. This is Ischure, Ischure, with the Shadow. This came out I think in 2017. She's put out some EP and demo materials after this, but this is the only full length. It's just very occult sounding stuff, very occult themed stuff, but it is very good. It's just very sultry black metal, and I do like that. Next up, man, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name still. I call him the dude from Emperor, Ishan, maybe. It's like extreme. This is his project, and this is the only album that I own from it, and this is one that I received in a VCLT. It is like extreme progressive stuff. This one is entitled Aramis Aramata. Yeah, it's not bad. It does just get a little too experimental, a little too progressive for my liking. Sometimes I do like it. As far as it's not something I'm going to listen to all the time, but it as far as progressive stuff go, and as far as his material goes, this is probably one of my favorite releases that under this under this project. But it's not something that I not the style of music that I tend to normally gravitate towards. And speaking of, this is one that I received in a bulk lot of CDs. Like I did a big purchase, and this was kind of like one of those bonus releases that I wasn't really. I didn't know anything about when I got it. It's I believe a band out of England. It's indie rock. Is the best way I know to put it. It's not just a style of music that I'm super familiar with. It wasn't terrible. Seems a bit more hipsterish than what I tend to listen to, but I did keep it because I liked it enough to keep it in the collection. This is Ikura Cult with Chat and Business. This is some good kind of background stuff. It's not something that I'm just gonna focus on and gravitate towards all the time. But for what it is, it wasn't bad. It seems like that's kind of the theme for a lot of the stuff that I've been saying so far. Next up, we have some industrial. This is Iconoclast with The Suffering. I'm not sure where this band is out of. It's just a white disc. I don't even know if you can see. It says Iconoclast there on the front. This came out in 2004. There's like some hardcore elements going on in this. At times, even like a little bit of death metal, um, and it's different. It's not bad. I'm not the biggest industrial guy, but this isn't terrible. So maybe I promise I'll get into some things that I really like in this video. I have shown a few things that I do really like. One of those being this next one that I'm going to show. This is a pagan folky black metal project uh, from Armenia. This made my 2021 end of the year list. This is Ildaruni with Beyond Unseen Gateways. Went blank there for a second. Absolutely love this album. This is one of the best things that I've heard from Black Line Records. Definitely recently, but maybe all time. It's one of my favorite releases that I've gotten from that label. And you guys know that I love a lot of stuff from Black Line Records, so it is a huge compliment for me to say something like that about this album. This is phenomenal. If you're into folky black metal, if you're into pagan black metal, if you're into folk metal, I urge you to go check out Elder Rooney if you have not done so, because I really do love this. I absolutely love that album. Next up, we have some more folky black metal out. This band is out of the Ukraine. Picked this up from Pagan Flames quite some time ago. This came out in 2015. This is Ild Verden with a Russian title that I cannot pronounce. This is their fourth full length. It was the last one that they've put out. I want to pick up some more of their material, especially if it sounds anything like this. I really like this. So it's nice to have some things I'm showing now that I actually really like, as opposed to like, hey, this is okay, you know. Let me move that stack, and we will keep going. Next up, we have some very. It's not depressive black metal. It is depressive in themes. I guess you could kind of think of this as more oppressive black metal. This is Ill Omen with I.E. Thy. I forgot the last part of the title. You can't read it. It's you will never be able to see that as far as this, but like the font on it, I forget the actual name of the album. This is I think their latest full length, but it is just some dark, uh, very oppressive, just evil sounding black metal, and I mean I do enjoy it, but it is some dark stuff. It's something that you kind of have to be in the mood for. This was released on Nuclear War Now Records, and it can put you in it can take you to a pretty dark place if it's not something that you're kind of in the mood to listen to. So that's one of those. It's good, but just kind of be careful with it. We have some more folk music. This is some acoustic folk out. I believe this band is out of Baltimore, Maryland. This is Iliami with the Fifth Circle. I blind bought this and I really like it. I want to hear some more of their material. This is the only release that I own from Iliami. This came out in 2006. I may be pronouncing that band name wrong, but that's just the way it looks as it's spelled. Apparently, they've made kind of a name for themselves in that kind of realm of folk music. It's not something that I follow just too terribly closely, so I wouldn't know. But I do like this, and at some point, I would like to maybe hear some more of their material. Next up, this came in a VCLT package. I think Marty sent me this. I think it came in that big box of stuff that he sent me. This is kind of a hybrid of power metal and thrash metal, and I actually kind of like this. This is a Magica with My Bloodied Wings. I actually enjoyed this more than I thought I was going to. Came out on Crash Music Records back in 2006. And I know some of you know it. Like I was kind of slow warming up to thrash metal. It's one of those. Like the earlier styles of thrash, I did enjoy, especially the aggressive styles that kind of led the way for death metal and like that kind of there's early thrash, I guess I should say early death metal that kind of blends those lines between thrash and death metal, and I like those. But like when it gets to the more like power metal style, the more traditional heavy metal fused with thrash, it took me a bit to kind of warm up to that. So I was surprised that I liked Magica as much as I did. They have several other releases out, but this is the only one that I have in the collection. That was my introduction to that band. Next up, we have some Death Doom out of the UK. I believe it's out of the UK. This is Imendane with And the Living Shall Envy the Dead. I picked this up from Paragon Records a little while ago. It was one of the probably in one of the first few Paragon Records orders that I placed. This is Death Doom. It's kind of an original style of Death Doom. It's not like Death Doom that you would think of in the original sense. There's some the atmospherics are kind of going there. There's some blackened themes going on in this as well. It was released on Weird Truth Productions, and that's just kind of a fitting name of a label for this because there's some definite originality going on from Emmendane, and I really dig this one. Next up, we got to have some Maggot Stomp. We have Immersed in Pain with Perforated Sanctuary. Killer caveman style death metal. This was released last year through Maggot Stomp. Just that you guys know what Maggot Stomp puts out. I mean, they're kind of a one trick pony as far as that old school death metal, caveman, knuckle dragging death metal. But if you're going to be a one trick pony, do it well, and Maggot Stomp definitely does. And this band fits right in the fits the bill greatly with Maggot Stomp. I really do like Immersed in Pain. Next up, another band out of Baltimore. This is some death metal. This is Immiseration with their Alienation of Humanity EP. This came out 2020, maybe a little bit earlier than that, to be honest. 2019 is what it says. So there's the disc. Then there's the little, it's just a little fold out liner that comes with it. I found this band on Bandcamp and I really liked them. The only other thing that they put out is a single that came out maybe last year. So I think this is one of those bands that when they finally put out a full length, a lot of people are going to notice and start paying attention because this is solid. This is some solid, has some blackened themes going on in their style of death metal, but it's just this really dark, kind of evil sounding stuff, and it's very good. Next up, like I'm missing quite a bit from this band, and it sucks. Some of you I may have heard the story, especially if you followed this channel for any amount of time. But many years ago, probably I'm going to say around 2006, could have been '07, '05, somewhere in that general vicinity. I had a big chunk of my CD collection stolen. It wasn't just, maybe 50 or so CDs. It was several hundred CDs. And when I get to bands like this and like the classic bands in the collection, sometimes you'll see me missing a lot of their earlier stuff. It's like I only have their later stuff. And it's very unfortunate because a lot of that stuff was some of the stuff that was taken way back then, and it's super expensive. A lot of it is super expensive to replace, and it sucks having to rebuy and spend that kind of money on something that was just stolen from you. But I really like it. Even ruined me on collecting for a while when that was stolen. I really didn't get back into purchasing physicals again until maybe 2011, 2012. So when you see these gaps in classic bands, like I'm going to show, that's kind of the explanation for it. There's reasons why I don't have the first Immolation album anymore. So I do have the second. This one I did find I got a good deal on this, I believe, on Discogs. This is Immolation with Hereinafter. Fantastic album. I absolutely love this. I still have to get the debut full length. I have to repurchase that at some point. I'm sure there's some reissues and remasters and stuff that are probably not going to break the bank just completely. It just sucks when you know that you had an original copy and now you probably won't own an original copy again because of the price tag that it warrants these days. But this one I got a good deal on. This is a 1996 original version of Hereinafter, and it's just flawless death metal. I absolutely love Immolation, and that is a killer release. Then you have the gap of stuff. I don't have anything else until 2010 of theirs, and this one is Majesty and Decay. A lot of people were kind of so-so on Majesty and Decay, and I absolutely love this release. It was definitely a return to form in my eyes for Immolation, and I still find myself pulling this one off the shelf and giving it a listen still to this day. I think Nuclear Blast even got to the point back when they were still doing their CD grab bags that they had to throw these in their grab bags just because it wasn't moving, and that's unfortunate because I like this album. Maybe you're in the group that doesn't like Majesty and Decay, but I really do enjoy that release. Now, the follow up to that, I can't really say the same about. I believe it's the follow up to that. You have Kingdom of Conspiracy. I did not like this one. I mean, I liked it. All right, I did not like this one as much as I tend to like other Immolation material. Let's put it that way. Because as far as a death metal release goes, Immolation, even a by Immolation standards, lower quality release is still better than a lot of other death metal bands out there. So I mean, it's not a terrible album just by my personal standards for Immolation. It felt a bit of a letdown to me, and maybe just it just seems fitting that it's in this little cheap CD wallet. I hate these cases like this. Nuclear Blast did nothing for the packaging on this. It's just, and this was right about that time period. This came out in 2013 that you were getting so many of these. There's still a lot of labels that cheap out and do that. Nuclear Blast is a horrible offender, but that was that was kind of a step back for me as far as Immolation albums go. But then we have probably uh definitely out of the 2000s era Immolation, this is by far my favorite. This one is absolutely amazing release. This came out in 2017. This one is entitled Atonement. I find myself still to this day wanting to go back and revisit Atonement. Even with the new album that came out last year, I still find myself wanting to return back to Atonement. And speaking of the newest album, I do have that one as well. This one is Acts of God. I purchased the long box version. I just pulled the jewel case out of the long box, but I do have the long box stored away on a shelf. Pretty good. I do like this one. I do think Atonement was a little bit better, but it's still solid. I mean, Immolation, they just absolutely flawless. They're one of those bands that are just I guess consistency is one of the main words that just comes to mind when I think of Immolation because you know what you're going to get from them and you know that it's going to be a good album. Next up, we have some atmospheric, folky, kind of post black metal out of Germany. This is Amorier with a Herbstmar. Yeah, this is their only full length. I think they put out a demo or an EP after this, but this is the only actual full length that they've put out. Maybe 2014 ish is when this came out. I would like to hear um, another full length from the band because I did like this. I think they've kind of leaned a bit more into the post black realm now, especially with that latest EP. I didn't pick that one up, but I would like to get it at some point. And they kind of left some of the folkier sounds behind, but this debut album was absolutely phenomenal. Next up, these will all be from the same band. We have Immortal. This is their Promo 91 release that they did the split with Ulver. Pretty good stuff here. Very kind of raw, primitive as far as Immortal sounds go. It's kind of crazy to listen to this 1991 release that has Immortal and Over, and then listen to the band, both bands now, and see how different that they sound. I only have the front liner for this and for several of the Immortal albums that I'm going to show. Next up, we have Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism from Immortal. This is an original Osmos Productions release. Unfortunately, I just have the booklet and the actual disc. 1992 is when this one came out. Good stuff. I mean, Immortal is just one of those. I mean, you guys know Immortal. They're trend-setting, groundbreaking band, and it's one of those bands that you're really not going to get tired of. This is probably my second favorite Immortal release. This is Pure Holocaust. Even though the artwork on it is quite a bit lacking, in my opinion, it's if someone just sees that in the store, they're probably not going to take that just super seriously. But as far as the album goes, I really like this one. Then we have Battles in the North, another. I mean, they they're not the best as far as their artworks go, but the music is definitely better than their cover arts would suggest it is. Unfortunately, I only have the front booklet and the disc for all of those. Next up, this one is complete. This is Immortal with Blizzard Beast. Little bit better on that artwork, maybe just because of the blue hues going on with that. But the follow up to this one, the artwork is much better, and hopefully we will cover that one on the next video because this is the last one for this particular section of the CD shelf. So that's it for today. I will hopefully be back next Sunday and we will continue with more Immortal CDs and work our way through the I section. I've got a concert tonight. I will have some other stuff up this week. Stay classy, stay metal, have a good week, and I will see you guys soon.